So since we know tracking a food item in its raw state is typically more accurate than tracking it in its cooked state, since you won't have to account for the moisture loss or gain during the cooking process, right? So like if you cook meat, it will lose water during the process. If you cook stuff like pasta, rice, legumes, it will gain water in the process, okay? But you might not be able to weigh your food raw at every single meal. For example, when you bulk prep food ingredients. So here I'm going to go through it's one method. There are two methods. You can go about tracking the food in the raw state after you have cooked it, okay? So firstly, you'll need two things, okay? You'll need the total raw weight before you start cooking and the final cooked weight after you cook the item. So for example, I bulk prep chicken and before I cook it, I weigh out, for example, 900 grams of raw chicken, okay? And then after baking all my chicken together, I weigh the final, the chicken after it's been cooked. So the final cooked weight I got, maybe it's like 720 grams, okay? So now that I have the raw weight and I have the final cooked weight, I will take the raw weight, which is 900 grams, divided by the final cooked weight, which is 720 grams, to get a multiplier. So 900 divided by 720, I have 1.25, okay? So take note of this multiplier, and like for example, whatever multiplier, you might want to write it down and put it on your refrigerator or something, okay? So now how do I convert from how do I weigh the food now that it's cooked, right, in its cooked form, and track it as the raw weight? So for example, you go inside your tracker. So some of you might be using Chronometer, some might be using MyFitnessPal or some other app. Okay, so I'm going to use the example here in Chronometer. So I go inside Chronometer and then I plug and play and I find out that I'll need 180 grams of raw boneless, skinless chicken breast, right? I'll need 180 grams to give me the macros I need. So maybe I was aiming for about, this amount, 40 grams of protein and 4.7 grams of fat, 216 calories, right? Okay, so I need 180 grams. So to convert from raw to cook, right, I need 180 grams. I take the raw weight divided by the multiplier that we got earlier, so it's 1.25, right? So the raw weight, just now I showed you I needed 180 grams. So that means that I should weigh out 144 grams of cooked chicken, okay? That means 144 grams of cooked chicken is the equivalent of 180 grams of raw chicken. When I put after I bulk prep my ingredients, now I only have cooked chicken. So when I weigh out 144 grams of the cooked chicken, I will track it as 180 grams of raw chicken, okay? And and the inverse is true if you're doing it the other way. From the cooked to raw weight, you take the cooked weight, multiply by the multiplier. So for example, the cooked chicken, right? Let's say I weigh out 200 grams of the cooked chicken. This means, right, that I should track it as 250 grams of raw chicken, okay? I hope that makes sense. So basically, to recap, you need the total raw weight, okay? After cooking it, you need the final cooked weight, okay? Then you take the raw weight divided by the cooked weight to get your multiplier, okay? So now you can use this multiplier to figure out how to track the food item as in its raw form. Yes. So in this case, if I need 180 grams of raw chicken, I will weigh out 144 grams of cooked chicken, okay? If I weigh out 200 grams of cooked chicken, I need to track it as 250 grams of raw chicken, okay? Now, and now I'm going to give an example using something that absorbs water, right? So for example, rice. So example, the total amount of raw rice, maybe I cook up 150 grams of raw dry rice, right? And then after boiling it in water and everything, I weigh out the weight of the cooked rice. So maybe it might end up weighing 400 grams, right? Okay, so I take the total raw weight, okay, and divide it by the final cooked weight to get my multiplier. In this case, it's 0.375, okay? So then now I go inside my tracker. I'm using my my fitness. I'm using chronometer as an example here. So brown rice or uncooked, right? The raw weight. For example, I play around and I figure out that I need maybe just 47 grams of uncooked rice. Okay, that will give me 35.8 grams of carb, 172 calories. Okay, so I need 47 grams of uncooked rice, right? Okay, so now I take 47 grams, okay? See here, 47 grams divided by the multiplier, right? So 47 divided by 0.375 will give me 125 grams, 0.33. So that means I will have to weigh out 125 grams of cooked rice, and I will track it as 47 grams of raw uncooked rice, okay? And then the inverse is true for the other way. If you weigh out, to convert from cooked to raw, you take the cooked weight, multiply by the multiplier. So if I weigh out maybe 200 grams of cooked rice, I am tracking it as 75 grams of raw uncooked rice, okay? So yes, I hope you found this helpful and useful. Okay, and if you need a copy of this spreadsheet to do the calculations, if you can't do it manually, let me know, and then I can email you a copy of this.